Now, you see there's a little bit of a shine on the surface of the model. That's because I've also applied what's called a specular map. And in this case, it's kind of a glossy and a shine map that Adobe calls it. Also, you'll notice some extra surface beveling in here. This is actually from the bump map. Utilizing black and white information, black creates valleys and the highlights or the whites creates more peaks. So I'm utilizing geometric shapes to etch into the ship more surface detail. And the most obvious thing that you've noticed is the actual color map that's on here. Let's go back and access the body. Going to select the body, go to my diffuse and say open that texture. That's what it looks like. Alright, so different portions of the textures is going to be applied to different areas of that ship. Let's go ahead and close this out temporarily, and let's take a look at the bump map for this particular model. The body is still selected. Go down about 3 levels down and you see bump, and if I open that one, we get to see the bump map here, and I'm going to zoom in close. The gray, medium gray, will give you no effect. Black will actually etch into your model. Now, if I put any highlights, like any whites in here, it's going to make the surface of the model come forward. Alright, so let's close this out for now, and you can see right on the ship, right on here, these little grooves in here is the result of that particular bump map. Now finally, let's go to the body and take a look at our specular. Let's go right on down, which is your gloss and your shine. You'll notice right in here that we have a symbol in there that represents your black and white imagery applied to create the shine. Black represents no effect, and white represents a more stronger effect. So let's go ahead and access the glossiness and open that texture, and you can see I basically turned this into a grayscale, where the black areas have less of an effect and the brighter areas have more an effect in terms of a shine on that particular model. Let's go ahead and close this out. I did the same thing here. I applied a different one to the shine. This is the glossiness I was actually looking at. Let's go into the shine channel and open that one, and it's the same map, but I made it much more flatter, so there wasn't as drastic of an effect for this shine as it was for the glossy. Alright, so in combination, of course, play with these, and this tutorial is basically just want to share with you that once my surfacing has been applied to my model, I can export this out, bring it into Lightwave, and Lightwave's going to recognize all of the textures exactly as I've applied them here. Now, how do I export this out? Alright, we're going to start by going to our 3D menu. 3D menu, come down on the bottom, export 3D layer. Inside, I'm going to go back up a little bit, and I created a folder called Exported from Photoshop. Double click on that folder. I'm going to call this one Starship Flattened Textures. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take the copy out of there, and keep it Starship Flattened Textures. Now, I could save it as a DAE, which is a collada format, but I'm going to choose the OBJ. We're going to stick to the OBJ, and as you can see, I've already saved this out as Starship Flattened Textures. Alright, I'm not going to do it again. It's already been done. Now, let's go into Bridge and show you exactly what is inside that folder. Here are all your textures, all of the textures that are represented on every aspect of this model: the head of the model, the bottom, the front, the top, the back, okay, have now been exported into that folder as JPEGs. Let's go back and take a look again. Alright, so if I click on each one, there's my bump map, okay. Here are my specular or my shine and glossy maps. So this is going to be our glossy, there's our shine, and these are various textures that I put on various portions of the ship, okay, including my OBJ, which is actually showing the OBJ object with the full textures attached, okay. Alright, so this is very, very advantageous. So now all the textures are in a single folder. My 3D object is in the same folder, and that's critical because in order for any 3D program to be able to read the textures, apply them to your ship, That means you're going to need to make sure that those textures are actually in the same folder as your 3D object. All right. So what? Let's go ahead, and it's already exported out. Let's go back into Lightwave and re-import this into Lightwave and see how well it accurately reads these textures. Okay, here we are back in Lightwave. Let's go ahead and import our model. And let's simply go to Loader Object. And we're going to go back to that folder that we created that we called Exported from Photoshop. There is my Starship Flattened Textures with Textures OBJ. And I'm going to select it, click Open. And it's giving me a progress bar here, and it's saying, you know what? Can't find some of those image files that are attached to the ship. Not a problem. Let's go find it. Go to Yes. It automatically goes to the Exported from Photoshop folder. There are all the files. Go ahead and click Open. Let it finish up. It's just saying, you know what? We had something that was unsupported in here. In this particular program, don't worry about it. Just click OK. And because it was exported as an OBJ from Photoshop, it's just telling us that there's some polygons in here that may not be totally accurate. We don't care. Click OK once again. And let's go ahead and see what we get. There it is. So let's go ahead and scroll this on back. Let's rotate it around. There's my ship. Accurate to what we saw in Photoshop. Now, as you can see, all of the color maps are there. The specular map and the bump map is not quite showing up yet because we need to render this, all right? So we're going to go to the aspect of my program, in this case Lightwave, that's going to render the model. There we have it, and it's not quite rendered yet. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to get the model to come a little bit closer to me. In fact, let's let's get in a little bit closer to, there we are. There we are. And all right, so we got a little bit closer view of our surface. Let's go ahead and render a frame so that you can see. There it is. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this closely. There are the extra bump map and specular map is actually applied to this. Let's go bring the lights at a different position. I'm going to go ahead and close this one on out and go to my light view, and let's position those a little bit differently. Okay, let's render this frame now. Select it. There it is. Let's go ahead and continue and take a look at that bitmap. There it is. Okay, so once again, our bumps came through, the color surface came through, and our specular came through fine. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this particular tutorial. Please go to chromeillusion.com and click on the tutorials link, and you will find this and other helpful tutorials further down on the page, from beginning to intermediate to advanced aspects of Photoshop, as well as your CS5 3D. And we also have 3D for CS4 as you come further down, from the ones that I've done for the Layers magazine. So come to the website, enjoy it. I'm Stephen Burns, and I look forward to working with you again.